Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Theme Park Workshop Podcast. My name is Kelley. I will be your co-host for today, and I am here with Adam Johnson.
Hello, gang.
Oh, I didn't say my last name. I'm Kelley Hoffman, if you didn't know. Usually we have Bella Harvey with us as well. She couldn't make it today, so it is just the two of us. And I know that we're a little delayed on this because haunt season is busy for everybody. But we are finally going to talk about these D23 announcements. We have had plenty of time to process that mess. If any of you listened to, if you watched the live stream or you saw the tweets and posts and everything like that. If not, you are in for a wild ride today.
Mr. Toad Wild Ride.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. What do we want to start with, Adam? Because there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, well, I think it's happened last year too with the proper D23 Expo, where we're all kind of like, well, that was the thing that happened. But with Destination D23, which is what we just experienced, this panel, it feels like, I know it's the mini D23, and so my expectations are low, but somehow like, huh. And I think the reason I feel it more is because we are in the middle of Disney 100, which is their flop of a celebration. I'll say flop of a celebration, not necessarily what they're offering, but just how people are responding to it, which is not very well. If you look at just the state of the movies that they've put out this past year, the only one to really profit, surprisingly, was Elemental. Little Mermaid did well, but compared to its budget, it really hasn't broken even yet. Indiana Jones flopped. Disney Plus is just, throwing things off the boat to try to recoup losses. Iger's in war with DeSantis. Iger's in war with the unions. It's a bad time for Disney. So this would have been a really good show of strength if they had something, and they didn't. Not really. I mean, it's fun. Some of the announcements we got, it's like, oh, like Star Tours is getting an update. I'm looking forward to that. If you love the meet and greets, there's some great characters coming. It seemed like more that this was, hey, remember we talked about last year? We have some dates for that now. And there were a couple of surprises, but it just felt like what we have before, and we're still keeping things like that. Whether it's like we have more boats coming. We have dates for these Epcot things. Hey, remember all those things we announced overseas? They're still coming. Don't worry, they're still coming, and you can look at it. And I love that. But I love that those exist. That we have Zootopia Land. We have I'm forgetting the actual name of it. The Tokyo Disney Sea New Islands with the modern Disney properties like Frozen and Tangled and stuff. Like, that's all great. But as someone who is not going to be traveling to overseas anytime soon, I'm like, love that for you. I'll watch it on YouTube. So I'm paying more attention to mainly the Orlando announcements, but some Disneyland announcements, but mainly the Orlando things. The idea is like that I have is like a mixed to negative about it. Negative in the sense like you really didn't announce anything new tomorrow. And mixed like they're not terrible announcements. Nothing's earth-shattering, but I wish I had a reaction to it. That's what I'm saying. I wish I had a reaction to a lot of these things. We'll talk about it and break it down, but in general, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool.
I had a reaction to at least one of the announcements, but it wasn't a good reaction.
That's the Cry of Agony I've heard.
I am excited about some of these things, and like you said, I get that this is like the smaller one, and we should have had tempered expectations, and I did. But I only got to watch about half of the live stream just because I was driving before that to Orlando. Because it was a Horror Nights weekend, so naturally I was going to Horror Nights. But I drove over to a friend's house and we watched the rest of the live stream. So some of the things we're going to talk about today are newer to me, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that. And then other ones I either saw on social media or heard about, but I got to see at least the last half of everything, and they made some interesting announcements. The ending was interesting as well of the show. The show itself was kind of a mess. I like the term that you've used, Adam, where you called it Muppet baiting. And it's like they're like using the Muppets for everything. And then it's just like, so what about the Muppets? Like, give me more Muppets. I don't
Disney
know.
in the movies, we have a gay character for 3 seconds. Enjoy it. We have the Muppets on stage for every announcement. Please enjoy it.
Literally, that's exactly correct.
Yep.
Oh,
Not to
wow.
mention, like in the presentation of the show, they had a live band. Mika was our singer, and everyone seemed surprised that Mika was there, except for Mika. And the band, like, we were told what to do. It's like they didn't rehearse it, which maybe they didn't. They probably didn't. But that just kind of underscored the tone. Was Josh is like, Mika, oh, you're just gonna keep on playing, Mika. Thank you, Mika. Thank you. Oh yeah, that's Mika. Don't you love the band, Mika? and, and then
Yep.
they didn't know how to frame the Muppets. It's like no one taught them how to film Muppets. This is gone from the internet now. They've scrubbed this live stream from the internet. You can't watch it back. Well, I mean, they did that last year. They just don't save these expos and presentations, so you need to go to Reaction if you want to see this travesty of a production. But I mean, it's not a travesty. It was just not. It's not Disney quality, which is why it's been scrubbed.
That's the thing is like any of these like things, it's just we have such expectations because it's like it's Disney. Like this is Disney. Like they're supposed to have their stuff together. You have so much money. Like what are you doing? So, but yeah, they've got a lot going on. I will say just really quick, this has nothing to do with D23, but I'm glad that Elemental did well because that was a great movie. If you haven't seen that, definitely watch it. If you've still got Disney Plus, which I do for now. I think you can watch it there now, which is cool. But okay, good.
And they've got
But
a
yeah,
lovely little documentary too. About the making of it.
Okay, I need to watch that. That's really cute. It's just really well done. I was kind of nervous about it because I wasn't so sure after like there was a real lack of advertising and I didn't know what to expect and oh, I loved it. It was one of my favorite movies this year. So, I thought it was really cute. I hope they do something with it in the parks. I don't know if they will, but
I want that Java coffee. Lava Java.
yes.
I want Lava Java. Lava Java at Disney now, please.
I would love that. I'm not a coffee drinker, but Kevin would drink it. And I just think it would be really cute. And I want to be able to say it. Like, yeah, he's going to get a lava java, please. Like, it's just so fun.
But getting into some announcements, there's some new characters coming. That was announced. Ahsoka is coming to Star Tours in spring 2024. I guess that's not really a meet and greet. That's just an Ahsoka segment that's coming to Star Tours. And you know me, I love Star Tours. And I love the randomization. It's just perfect fan service. And now that they're bringing, I think they already announced they're bringing Mando in soon. Now we have Ahsoka coming. And Ahsoka is like a definitive Star Wars character. She was before, but she definitely is now. So that's awesome. Really looking forward to that. We're also getting Asha from Wish. She'll be a meet and greet character at Epcot, Disneyland, at Disneyland Paris. And speaking of meet and greets, I know this is what they ended the show with, but just keeping the theme of new characters. Oh, wait, we also have Moana. I forgot about Moana. Moana's coming to World Nature at Epcot on October 16th. That's in a few weeks. And then Figment is out and about now. So those are some new characters and meet and greet experiences that were announced. What do you think of those, Kelley?
I'm actually really excited about these. I know Moana has done meet and greets like at special events and stuff before, and I always think that those look really fun. I'm so bad about meeting characters at special events because I never want to wait in the crazy lines. I have braved it before for Jack and Sally because I love them and a couple of other characters that I've really enjoyed, which is I wish that we had treat trails like they do at Oogie Boogie Bash. That this is a side note that I've said before in that episode, I'm sure, but I loved that because I got to just, you're already waiting in line for the candy and you get to hear them like talk and experience them more. So I love a character experience. The way we do them at Walt Disney World is a little less personal sometimes, and it's the lines are still like crazy because we are the tourist park, but I like what they're doing with these characters. I love that we're getting, is it Asha from Wish?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know what her name was, but she's adorable and that movie looks amazing. Like I feel like that's going to end up being one of my favorite Disney movies because the animation is gorgeous, and
Yeah.
it's a really interesting storyline. Not to mention like the representation, they're getting a little bit better about that lately too as
Yeah.
well, which is cool. And I love Figment. I am going to Epcot tomorrow from the date that we're recording, and I'm really hoping I'm going to get to meet Figment, but I just got to see like what the wait times look like, because I will not be waiting 3 hours or 5 hours for that. I will not wait more than like maybe 30 minutes. And even then, my party might be like, you do that without us, we're good. So we'll see. But I'm excited about these meet and greets. I think it's cool. And yeah, I think it'll be fun. I'm excited to at least see pictures and videos from other people, even if I'm not as big about meeting the characters just because of the lines and stuff.
Yeah, I'm also not much of a meet and greeter. I think I did the Stitch one because my brother loves Stitch, so we had to wait for Stitch. I've done the Town Square Theater one. I don't even know if that's still there, but I did that years and years ago with Magician Mickey, and I thought that was such a cool experience. Even though I'm not like Mickey, you're talking, but we're not having a conversation. I don't know what to say to you, but good for you. When we met Spider-Man, the three of us, I just stood there awkwardly, and I'm like, they know how to interact with characters. They know how to do it. But these are good characters to have. Same way Ariel. I know Bella posted about meeting Ariel, the live action Ariel. So, and it was really cool to see. So they don't really let down when it comes to meet and greets from what I can tell.
Just gonna say, I hope that I can meet the live action Ariel before she goes away. I assume she's still there because I haven't heard otherwise, but she is in that the One Man's Dream, I think it's
One
called, that
Man's Dream.
theater. Yeah, where the characters rotate out a lot. So I'm hoping, I just haven't been to Hollywood Studios in a while, but I hope that I'm able to get over there before she's gone, because she's adorable. I do prefer to meet face characters, but I'm glad that you said that about like, oh, they can interact. Actually, Spider-Man hardly counts as yeah, we could talk to him. So I was like, oh, okay. If they can talk, I know how to talk to them. I feel so bad when I don't understand what the other characters are saying. Like, I'm like, Pooh Bear, I don't really know what you're asking of me, but I love you too. I don't know. So I have no idea how I'm going to interact with Figment. I'll probably be super awkward, but hopefully I'll get to meet him and just like, hey, what's up? I hope he doesn't fall as well. If you guys saw those videos, that they need to, I know that they've made changes to it already, but I feel like they just need a different area for them to come out of or something. Cause like I've seen all the videos of characters falling on there, and I'm like, that is just not a good design when you can't see.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes, and I'm excited for everybody's interactions.
Yeah. While we're talking about Epcot, the World Celebrations section of the park, they're going to officially open it in December of 2023. I still don't have the different worlds down quite yet. So good for you. If you too, good for you, Disney, for opening this up. This is where I was just at Epcot. It's where all the construction walls are. Listen, as long as there's no construction walls in Epcot, I'm game for it. I don't even care what you put there.
Me too. Yep, me too. And it's funny because you were saying World Celebration, and I was going to be like, Adam, for the people at home who don't know, because I definitely do, where is that? But I was like, is it where all the construction walls are? And that makes sense. Yeah, I think it's cool that they're doing all these sections, but if it's not World Showcase, I have no idea. I mean, I can guess, but
yeah, so World Celebration is basically the front of park.
okay,
so it's going to include
cool.
Spaceship Earth. Remember, we're going to get an updated Spaceship Earth. But
eventually, that wasn't re-announced, was it?
no, it's been assumed canceled, like the Mary Poppins ride.
Well, Dame Judi Dench, you live another day on that ride. I love her voice. I think it's great. I think that the ride definitely needs an update, though. It's always funny going on rides that are. This is as a Tomorrowland stan, like that is my favorite section of Magic Kingdom. But it's always funny to me when something is supposed to be futuristic and it is very much old. And that's how I feel about Spaceship Earth. Like, I know we talk about the past, but they're like, oh, now we're in the future, though. And I'm like, are we? So I think that ride definitely needs.
Steve Jobs is as far as we went in the future, right? Just Steve Jobs?
Yeah. Yep. That's right. And then it's like, oh, here's the Earth. All right, now future. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, that's exactly it. So I'm excited to hear about that update, but who knows when we're going to get that, if ever.
Yeah. I'm looking into, the Dreamers Point statue. Okay, yeah, so that's what they still have to add, the Dreamers Point Walt Disney statue and the Communicore Hall Plaza area. So
I
that's all
wonder,
we're waiting on.
do we know if they're still doing that area that's like it's like kind of like a lot of Wreck-It Ralph stuff, and there's
Play
going to be all
Pavilion?
kinds of, yeah, Play Pavilion. Mm,
That's kind of in the same limbo as the other two things, last I heard.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's just interesting how much things have changed in the past few years.
Yeah, I want to say in Disney's defense, there was a pandemic that really cut the bottom line. On the same hand, like I feel like the park needs something like that, needs a little refresh.
Yeah, and especially like I feel like Epcot in particular, but some of the parks and some of the Universal parks as well, or honestly probably both of them, could benefit from having more stuff for younger children to do. And I think that, or even, I mean, maybe teenagers that don't do rides and stuff too, or young young adults and stuff who don't do rides, like something like that where it's very interactive and fun to do and gives you something to do. But not everybody does rides, not everybody drinks, not everybody, so I think that like Epcot, if you're not into those awesome rides that I love, or like, drinking / eating around the world, and like, kids, like I love to eat around the world. I'll have like maybe a drink, but like I just love all the different food items and stuff and like exploring. But I didn't care about that as a kid. I was like, where are my chicken nuggets back from rest in peace, the electric umbrella, So like I didn't care about that stuff. But I think Way of Water is
Yeah.
a good start. Which I'll be able to say more on. I'm doing the preview tomorrow when I go, so hopefully I'll be able to say more on that soon. But I think that's a good start. But I'm sad if they don't do the Play Pavilion. I don't know how much I would go in there personally, but I think like it'd be a good addition.
With the Play Pavilion, it was going to be like they were going to change it out every so often because it was all going to be like virtual experiences that would show Imagineers kind of being risky. And that was really exciting because it's kind of like a mix of the Disney Quest virtual stuff that I loved. And I'm not going to lie and tell you that it wasn't dated. It was so dated, but I loved it. So to see like a 3.0, 2.0 version of that and Play Pavilion that would regularly change. And we love Horror Nights, we love haunts, and those are always changing. That's something very special about theme parks. Theme parks in general are very fluid, but like the ultra fluid stuff, that feels like to me what Play Pavilion was going. That was the way I heard it pitched, and that was very interesting. Probably not getting it, but still, like Journey of Water, like I walked past it the other day, and it looked really cool, really serene and stuff. And I've seen videos and it looks really cool. I cannot wait to hear your experience at Journey of Water, inspired by Moana. So that'll be a fun time. And of course, Moana is going to be joining World Nature, where Journey of Water is, the same day it opens on October 16th. Then 2 more surprise announcements for Epcot. Well, I guess 1.5 surprise announcements. The half announcement was, hey, you remember how we said we're going to do a new nighttime show? Well, we've got a name for it, Luminos, the Symphony of Us, which is very close to Harmonious. Sure. No, Epcot has really, it's a really cool venue for a nighttime show. I still think back to when we were talking about Harmonious closing, and Bella had some really, really great things to say about that still stuck with me since then. So I know that was a very meaningful show. I hope that this show is just as meaningful for the people that did love Harmonious. It took a while for Harmonious to be beloved. And eventually it was, but I think it's too late for Imagineering and they kind of abandoned it. So they went back to the temp show. Now we got this new show coming out. I hope this captures what people loved about Harmonious, but then also captures what everyone loved about Illuminations and what people love about Disney Nighttime. I didn't see any of these recent Epcot shows, so I can't speak to them aside what I've seen from the internet and the live stream that's on Disney Plus. Rest in peace. So I don't have much to say about it. But the last thing with Epcot before I ask your opinion on it, Kelley, is Test Track 3.0, which was a big surprise. Chevrolet really wanted a refresh, I guess, and it's going to be inspired by World of Motion, which was the original attraction there before Test Track. I think Test Track 2.0 was like one of those, like, oh, okay, I know why it's here. This is a weird choice to make it more Tron inspired or more virtual inspired. So 3.0 seems like, I think, what people might have wanted a brand new test track to be, something that didn't try to fit in the old attraction as much, but in this new overlay that felt dated because it wasn't Tron, but it was Tron-esque. That didn't feel right for test track. I think it works fine as an attraction, but I can understand the context of all of that. Like, oh, that might have been a knockdown. So 3.0, I'd never rode World of Motion. I've kind of skimmed a video. I need to watch a proper ride through of the old attraction, but either way, that seems very interesting and exciting. What do you think of Luminos and Test Track 3.0, the surprise announcement?
So Luminous, okay. I mean, I'm gonna go see it, I guess. Like, sure. I will say one thing I like about the Epcot night shows is that they're more accessible than most of the fireworks shows, because I am not a person who does well in super crazy crowds. Like, I try to find like the way to get out of that. So I like that even if I went pretty early on, I should still be able to find a decent spot, because you can go like basically anywhere in the World Showcase, which is cool. So I'm interested to see that. I will definitely go see it. I have not been, it's funny because I liked Harmonious, actually. I know not everybody did, but I liked it. Curious what the difference is going to be. Luminous to me makes it sound very like bright and like colorful and light, and I don't know, I hope that they do a lot of cool, like, I liked the effects that they did in Harmonious. I know the things in the lagoon were kind of an eyesore. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't, so I'm curious what they're going to do with Luminous. I'm tepidly excited. Like, I'm excited, I'm not like stoked, but I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get too excited about this, let's see how it goes, is kind of like where I'm at. As far as Test Track, though, I'm very excited about that, because I am someone who absolutely loved the original Test Track. I think it's got one of the best pre-shows. Like, the pre-show video was hilarious. I thought the queue was interesting, where you see all the test dummies and they're doing tests and stuff. I loved the ride. I loved you're going over these different terrains, and there's like did you forget to turn off the corrosion? Uh-oh. And like, just like silly, oh my gosh, you're gonna slam into a wall. No, you're not. Like, it's just very, I know they kind of still do that, but it wasn't the same. Or it's not the same now, I mean. So I absolutely loved that ride. I thought it was amazing. Then they changed it, and I was like so disappointed. And then I went on the new version, and I was like, the ending is still great, where you're going really fast and everything like that, but the ride itself just didn't have the same heart to me. Making the car, I mean, I don't know if they're going to keep that or not, but that just, I was like, okay, this is cool, I guess, but it just didn't, I don't know, I just didn't have the same attachment to it anymore. Where the original Test Track, and obviously this is pre-Cosmic Rewind and stuff, but it was my favorite ride at Epcot, and honestly, probably besides Haunted Mansion at Disney for a long time. Like, Haunted Mansion's always been my favorite, but that was really up there. And I don't even think it's in my top 10 of Disney attractions anymore. Like, it's fallen a lot. And I'll still ride it, but it's just not a must do for me like it used to be. Like, I kind of prefer Soarin' now, even though I have thoughts on Soarin' as well. But like, I'm excited to do Soarin' over California again, by the way, when I go tomorrow. That'll be fun. But I didn't feel as strongly about, like, some people were upset that they changed Soarin' over California. When they changed Soarin', I was like, okay, I'll miss the orange smell, but that's kind of cool. Like, whatever, I'm cool with this. So I didn't have a problem with that. But Test Track, I did have a problem with. So I'm interested for 3.0. As much as I wish they'd just be like, we're going back to the original, they're not going to do that. So I think it's cool that they're moving forward in a way that also touches on their roots, which I don't know a lot about the original. What was the name of the original attraction again?
World of Motion.
Okay. I don't really know anything about World of Motion. I'll have to look into that.
It was very, the ride vehicle is very similar to Spaceship Earth. So you got in, there's a slow moving attraction. Actually, a lot of the attractions when Epcot opened.
Yeah.
This was just like in a vehicle, and you slowly move through the sets and the murals, like Living with the Land, that was on water. Spaceship Earth, which rotated, and Horizons, which was its own thing. So like many of those Omni-Mover type attractions, that's what it was.
Interesting. And the vehicles that they have in the concept art looked cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited for this because to me, this is gonna sound terrible, but I'm like, they can't make it worse. They can, but they definitely could make it worse. But like it was such a huge step down for me personally when I went on the second version of it that it was so sad. So I think that it'll probably be an improvement for me, and I'm hoping I love it almost as much as the original. I don't think I could love anything as much as I loved that one, but I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, we will see. Speaking of attractions turned new, I guess, they reaffirmed that Tiana's Bayou Adventure is still opening in 2024. That construction seems to be coming along nicely. The Hatbox Ghost is coming to Magic Kingdom late November. They had the Muppets clear up the canon. Sure. Country Bear Musical Jamboree, so they're updating the show. It's coming back to Disneyland. It's been gone from Disneyland since Winnie the Pooh opened over there. It's coming back to Grizzly Hall, and it's also getting the refresh over in Magic Kingdom, wherever else it is. So it's the Country Bears Jamboree. Now it's the Country Bear Musical Jamboree that's opening in 2024, and it's going to include quote-unquote new songs. They said they got some of the best bluegrass musicians in the field, and then they're like, here's a look at a brand new song, and it was just a bluegrass rendition of the Bare Necessities, and I am very scared. I don't have a strong attachment to Country Bears Jamboree. It's a very unique animatronic show, just in its lack of political correctness and all of that. It's a very much a cult classic attraction for Magic Kingdom, which has quite a few, but that one's just like in a very special area in term, like not gray area, but like one of those kinds of areas, not like up in Frontierland, just like that's interesting. That's definitely something that's still here. I want to do it again because I can't believe I saw it the first time. So yay, it's coming back to Disneyland. Also, we're just doing Disney songs. That's my thing. I don't have a strong attachment to the old stuff. It's this new stuff doesn't even feel like a step forward or a step back. It's like, what are we doing here? Why not just put in brand new songs? Why hiring all these bluegrass musicians to do nothing but redo Sherman Brothers tunes? I love the Sherman Brothers, but come on.
Yeah. Well, okay, so a rundown of my thoughts on all that. Hatbox Ghost. I'm excited. I know that people were upset about the location. I wish that we could do it in the same location that they have it in California. I don't know if there's a reason for that. I get that like it goes with the movie more, but you know, the movie was fine. So I'm like, yeah.
How excited. You should go back, friends, and listen to our Haunted Mansion episode because their optimism was so naive.
Yes.
Jamie Lee, why? Why'd you let us down, Jamie Lee?
Jamie Lee.
He did nothing wrong like Keith Stanfield. He did nothing wrong. Kid who played the kid. Y'all were great.
No, they were fantastic. And the movie was a mess though. But anyway, I wish that they would have him in like right after the attic scene. Like where they do it at Disneyland, because I loved him at Disneyland. I was like, why don't we have this? I'm so disappointed. And the first thing I Googled was, why don't we have this? And then I was like, oh, they took this from us. So, you know, like they being Disney. But so I guess I'm excited. I'm curious how it's gonna be as like with the whole attraction. But I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine it's going to take anything away from the attraction for me.
I rewrote it on Monday, and you do see the section where the Hatbox Ghost will be. And I think it's going to be fine for the pacing of the attraction. It's in terms of like the story pace, not the story pacing, the story elements of it. It's like, oh, does that really work? I guess he's an unhappy haunt. Gonzo the Great said, sure. So you can complain about that. I really don't care about the discourse at this point when it comes to all of this. I'm a nerd as far as like lore goes, but I'm writing through. I'm like, he'll work fine there. He'll work fine. That's my 30-second defense, I guess. Loose defense.
Yeah, as a hardcore lover of Haunted Mansion, I'm like, it's fine. I don't feel very strongly about where he's located, but I think it'll be cool that he'll be there. We'll see how it is when it gets there. It's one of those things where it's like, well, I'm not going to complain too much anyway until it's there. As far as what was the other thing we talked about? I have thoughts on Country Bears, but
Tiana, I think, was the other one.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be great. I know there's people that have opinions on how the ride is being handled, where it's like a story about like getting like ingredients for like a recipe or something along those lines, and it's like the Tiana's food arc of things versus like just doing a ride that's like kind of like it's more of a continuation versus like, oh, this is the movie as a ride,
Yeah.
you know? So I know that there were people who would have preferred it to be like, you know, more of the movie, and they wanted more of Dr. Facilier, which we have no idea if he's going to be in it or not. I mean, I hope so. Maybe he's messing with the ingredients. I don't know. So that's another one of those things that I'm like, you know, I can have my thoughts and opinions. I'm not really sure about the storyline, but I'm not hating on it yet. I will say I do like that Tiana is going to be such a big character as herself and not a frog. I think that's going to be really nice because, you know, Disney did that thing that they do where they turn people into animals when they are people of color, which is not cool. So I like that we're getting more of her. I'm assuming that her voice actress Anika is going to be doing the voice lines, like new lines, which would be cool. And I love her. So that would be cool. But yeah, I'm unsure how I feel about the concept, but I'm very excited about the ride. I had zero attachments to Splash Mountain. In fact, it traumatized me as a child. But yeah. So I'm excited. And then Country Bears. I am very confused. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. My friend called it the Country Bears Eras Tour because they're doing like the Disney like classic songs probably. And I mean, Bare Necessities, are they all going to be bear songs? I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And I'm not like a Country Bears #1 stan or anything like that, but I do enjoy the show. I think the songs are silly and fun, and I think it's really cute. It's not something I do every single trip, but I love the Country Bears. So I hope they don't ruin the Country Bears because I think they're a classic.
So to close out, there are a couple of other minor announcements. Well, I feel like they're minor because of just how much actual substance we actually got. One was another look at the Avengers, quote, multi-world mission. It's interesting using multi-world instead of multiverse. We got to see the ride vehicle. To me, it looks like a scoop. I love the scoop over at Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, but it's not like a revolutionary new thing, which it doesn't have to be. But it's just kind of funny. It's like, hey, look at the ride vehicle and the concept art. Now we're using multi-world. What else did we get? Pirates of the Caribbean Watering Hole Tavern. I guess Vertigo Tavern's not doing it for them anymore. Fair. But oh yeah, they did confirm that there is something behind Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and it's not a bear. It's a massive expansion, quote, the scale of Galaxy's Edge and Pandora, the world of Avatar. But we don't know what the IP is. They didn't announce that, as Bruce Vaughn said. Kind of, he was reading Josh D'Amaro, kind of throwing shade, is like, we don't like to announce things until we have a concrete plan. That's the way we do it in Imagineering, because that was the thing that happened. So we know something's coming.
It was really like, I'm looking at you, Josh.
I like fell off my couch. I was like, oh, did he go there? Someone doesn't like Josh D'Amaro. But then we got the Disney Signature Experiences Lookout Key is coming, the Disney Adventure is coming, as well as 2 new cruise ships. So I don't do those, but I know other people do those and they really enjoy them. So I'm sure that's a big thing for them. But the big thing was, of course, Zootopia is coming. Zootopia is indeed coming to Animal Kingdom, not where we thought it was going to be, but it's going to be where It's Tough to Be a Pug is, inside the Tree of Life. I understand. No one really talks about Flick these days, except for that one lady. It's
And
not the biggest
Kevin,
Pixar
my
movie.
husband.
Oh, Kevin loves it.
Kevin's favorite, he doesn't necessarily love the attraction. He likes it. But it's his favorite Disney movie or Pixar movie, I mean, is Bug's Life. He loves Bug's Life, just like from when he was a kid and everything too. So he might be mildly sad, but he's married to me, so we don't ever go see that show because I am terrified. I feel very similarly to how I felt about Bug House at Halloween Horror Nights last year. I get the appeal. It's fun, not for me. Too many bugs. So
True. It is fun to hear children scream. Like, it's like, man, listen to that trauma over there. That's funny.
that's actually just me you were hearing. But yes, I do agree with that. I honestly, as a kid, I was like those traumatized children. I would cry and I would always like stand up so I didn't feel the bugs under me. And I always sat really far forward so I didn't get poked in the back by if you've never been on this ride and on this attraction and you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're in for a wild ride. You should go do it before it goes away, whenever that is. Soon.
Just don't go into the front row or on the very sides, because this is definitely 1998 3D.
Yes, for sure. It's fun though. I get it.
The animatronic's nice.
It is.
Hopper.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because if you've never done this attraction, it's very much like, it's bugs. Like there's bugs living in the tree. That's the whole, thing. And it's like very played up that way. I feel like it's going to be more like you're walking past the tree. This is just a theater, but I don't know because it's going to be in the tree still probably. So I'm not really sure how they're going to do the theming of it, like being in a tree. I don't think they're going to kind of stick to that like they did with the bugs, in that it's like, yeah, you're in this tree. I think it's like, no, you're going to be in a theater.
Yeah. I know they're saying like, they're really emphasizing how it's like, oh, it's this diverse set of mammals. And maybe that's supposed to be about the diversity of the Tree of Life. I don't know. I feel like some of these things were kind of reaching. Speaking of reaching, I actually don't think it says much of a reach to retheme DinoLand to the tropical Americas, including potentially. That was the annoying thing. They didn't confirm anything. They just said, we're confirming the potentiality of things we're thinking about, including Encanto and Indiana Jones over where DinoLand is. But, this is kind of a wake. So, Kelley, DinoLand, how you feeling?
You know how I'm feeling, Adam.
I know. But just for posterity.
I understand that DinoLand USA is a mess. And to be honest with you, I truly don't feel that strongly about DinoLand USA. What I do feel strongly about is Dinosaur. I wish that there was a way that they would keep it. Listen, and I love Indiana Jones. I really enjoyed it when I went to Disneyland. I think it'd be cool to have a version of it where the effects all work. Throwing some slight shade there, because there's a lot of effects like the rolling ball and the, like a lot of those don't work anymore. I don't know how strongly I feel about this. I know a lot of people feel very strongly that like Encanto and if you guys heard that, that was my cat. She's meowing in the mic because she wants to be a star. I don't know that Encanto and Indiana Jones they don't fit the original theme of like the conservation and everything like that. But then again, I mean, I'm looking at you, Hollywood Studios, which is my favorite park. I love it. Although Epcot is kind of getting up there for me, honestly, with their new, at once the construction walls are down, I think. But Hollywood Studios is doing the same thing where they're going away from the movie making that I really enjoyed about it initially and adding IPs, but the IPs are great. So I feel like this could, well, I mean, like I love Galaxy's Edge personally, and I love Toy Story and everything like that. So they have their issues, but I love those lands and those additions. I'm sure this is going to be the same thing where I'll be like, well, it doesn't really fit the theme, but I mean, I love Encanto, I love Indiana Jones, so all right. So I have no issues specifically outside of like whole land theming with those two properties, but I wish they were keeping Dinosaur. I'm going to be camped out outside of it. Like, I'm going to chain myself to it and be like, you can't take this down without taking down me. But then I would probably go to jail, so I'm not actually going to do that. I will be very disappointed. I'm probably going to marathon it all day long for the last day that I'm able to go. So I'm sad about it. I wish they could keep it, but I like the ride vehicles a lot. And as long as they kept those the same, I do think Indiana Jones could be really cool. How it's going to fit with the whole land, I don't know.
Yeah, they sold me more on the concept of it being the tropical Americas, because that'd been rumored. I'm like, oh, I don't know, but the way they pitched it, I'm like, okay, you sold me on it. And working the IP in there, I feel like I'm sold on it more. Again, we don't know if that's the IP that's actually going to be in there because this could potentially be in here. But it'll certainly be interesting, but we don't know when it's coming. Dinosaur might last us until 2030. That's how specific they were.
That's very true.
I also love Dinosaur. It's one of my favorite rides in Walt Disney World, even when it's not working at top shape. But Animals and Adventures are the name of the game, and it comes. That's the specifically what they highlighted, like Tropical America, which is what they said is the most biodiverse, I believe, section of the world. I think that's what they said. I could be misquoting, but Animals and Adventures are what the land was going to be about. So I'm here for it. Indie works and Kanto works, I think. Listen, I didn't take a geography class in school. I somehow missed that. So if I'm wrong, flame me in the comments. But it was a weird destination D23. Because there's these little things, and then they just confirmed and followed up with the things they announced or teased last year, including DinoLand, including this expansion of Magic Kingdom. These are the big things. But I thought I'd have more of a negative reaction towards these things than I do. For me, the thing about D23 was all these weird instances that happened. The Muppet baiting, the here's a picture of a ride vehicle. Here's country bears in a tavern. So that's our quick thoughts on Destination D23. Thank you everyone for listening to Theme Park Workshop. It's been a wild month. So thanks for sticking in there. As it's been almost a month since our last episode, since our HHN prep episodes. Thank you so much for listening to that. Thank you for following us on Instagram and TikTok. Those have blown up this month, and I'm kind of in awe. We've gotten to meet amazing people the past month. And hear from other people, and it's just like I'm so happy that everything's going on with this the way it's going on. Extremely humbled.
Yes, it has been wonderful chatting about this with all of you. We will have some really, really exciting stuff that we can't wait to share with you this upcoming month in October. So stay tuned for all of that. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're new, I know we've gotten some new people lately. Wanted to say hello and thanks for hanging out with us. But yeah, we'll see you guys soon.
Hello, it's me. I'm back. We really ran down to the wire when we were recording this episode because of different circumstances. And because of that, we didn't get to record certain things, and we want to make sure that we hit those. And so number one on that list is our Creator Spotlight. Every episode that we do, we always want to end it with shouting out a creator in the theme park space that we really enjoy and we really like. That could be a podcast, a YouTube channel, or art, anything really. And so this week, we're shouting out Storybook Amusement. It's a YouTube channel about theme parks. My favorite of their videos have been the ones about the canceled, unbuilt rides. In fact, one of the most recent videos was called Universal Studios' Scariest Canceled Rides, which is all about all the horror-tinged attractions that just never came to Universal Studios. So, like, you might have heard of the Van Helsing ride that didn't happen, and it's kind of the precursor to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and obviously that didn't happen because we have Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, but there are also other ones. I'm like, what? That was a thing they considered? It blew my mind. They also did a video on the canceled Scream HHN house. If you like old school theme park workshop, back when we were doing video essays on storytelling, Storybook Amusement does have videos like that, talking about the storytelling in theme parks, but also like, practical things like how to conquer every roller coaster at a given park, or the history of this isn't practical, but, still really interesting, like the history of a roller coaster, or Six Flags has dark rides every now and again. What was the first one like? I've really come to enjoy their videos since I've started following them, and I'm like, wow, I really like these videos, and I want to make sure that you go and subscribe to them. And while you're at it, let Storybook Amusement know that Theme Park Workshop sent you. I love this channel, so make sure you go check that out. Number 2, of course, we want to shout out our patrons. They make this show happen, and we appreciate your patronage all the time. You can join our Patreon at patreon.com/themeparkworkshop. And you can join Landon Kanoki, Jonathan Edward, Jordan Buster, Greg Harvey, and Joshua Gonzalez. Thank you all again so much for your patronage. It means so much. And lastly, where can you follow the show? On all the podcast apps. Do know that Google Podcasts is not going to be existing, so make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, so you can follow us on YouTube Music if you want to, or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, other podcast apps that are not going under, like Google Podcasts. You can follow the show on Instagram at Theme Park Workshop, on TikTok at Theme Park Workshop. We also have a Facebook page, a Twitter at Workshop TP. Make sure you're following the show on there as well. You follow me, Adam Johnson, at AdamJ_film on Twitter. You follow Kelley at Killer_Kells on Twitter. And Bella, our other co-host, who's usually on here, you can follow her on Twitter at Bella Harvey with 2 Ys. And, of course, her photography account, amazing photographs, on Instagram at Flynn Writer's Nose. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you stay tuned to Theme Park Workshop. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.